Hi everyone. Today we are going to discuss about one of the most important functional unit of a computer, memory system. So you all know why memory system is used. For storing and retrieving data, we need a storage device. So it is handled by this memory system. We are going to discuss what are the memories available in memory system and how they are organized in the computer. Before going into the system, let us see some of basic concepts in memory system. So you all know we have different speeds of computer. Depending upon the processor, the speed of computer varies. If it is a 16-bit processor, we require 16-bit memory address. If it is a 32-bit computer, we require 32-bit address memory address. And if it is a 64-bit computer, we require 64-bit memory address. So you see here, depending upon the processor bit, the address bit also changes. uh, if it changes, the location also changes, that is number of available location also changes based on this value. So if it is a 16-bit address, the possible locations are 2 power 16 possible locations, and its capacity is around 64 kb. If it is a 32-bit address, we will have 2 power 32 memory locations, and we will have and its capacity is almost 40 GB. If it is a 64-bit processor, you will have 2 power 64 locations, and its capacity is almost 1 TB. So see, I just drawn one small diagram here to indicate represent the memory locations. So each block is called as memory cells. Each memory cell contains one memory address. So so these are all the locations, memory locations. If it is 16-bit computer, then you will have 2 power 16 memory locations in the memory. And one more important thing is computer memory uses byte addressability. So byte addressability means we have two representations. So one is little Indian, another one is big Indian. So the big Indian format is used by the processor 868000, and the little Indian is used by all Intel processors. So whatever the processor, almost we uses mostly Intel processors. So the format we are going to use in our processors are little Indian. And we have another architecture called ARM architecture. This ARM architecture uses either little Indian or big Indian format. Let us consider 32-bit memory address for our discussion. I am giving one example for you to how data is read from memory. Uh, Usually the processor will request for data to memory. Uh, Processor sends 32-bit address to memory. If it is received by memory, how it fetches the location. First, see, the higher order 30 bits determine word address, because even though we are following byte addressable, the byte addressables are arranged in word length for storing and retrieving data. Why we are following this mechanism means to improve the speed of access. The higher order 30 bits determine the word address, and the low order 2 bits determine the byte address. In this way, the processor fetches the location, that is identifies the memory location for fetching the data. The following diagram shows connection between processor block and memory block. Now we are going to discuss about how data is transferred from processor to memory or memory to processor. For that, processor contains two registers called MAR and MDR. MAR is memory address register, whereas MDR is memory data register. Memory address register is connected with address bus and MDR is connected with data bus. Address bus is unidirectional, data bus is bidirectional. We have control lines. These control lines are responsible for the data transfer between processor and memory. This k bit represent number of address bits and n bit represents number of data transferred in a unit time. Here we are going to discuss two things. One is how data is read from memory to processor, and also how data is written into memory from processor. These two concepts we are going to discuss. First, read operation. Processor wants some data from memory. First, what it do means, processor loads the memory address into MAR. Processor loads the memory address into MAR and enables this control line RW bar to 1. When the memory checks this line to 1, it understands processor is attempting for a read operation. It checks the address bar, that is address bus, and finds the address and loads the data into data bus, that is data line. After loading the data into data line, the MFC function is enabled. MFC means memory function complete. Once this MFC is enabled, processor understands the data is available in data line. That data is transferred to MDR. The processor will do this operation. Once this MFC function is enabled, processor makes this MDR to copy the data into MDR. This is how the data is fetched from memory to processor. Next one is how data is written into memory. For that, processor needs to load the memory address and also data. It loads the memory address in MAR and it loads the data into MDR. After loading these two things, the control line RW bar is set to 0. When memory finds this signal to 0, it understands there is a write operation. Then memory checks this address, it goes to that address location and copies the data available in data line into memory. This is how the write operation is performed. Now I have explained you how data is read from memory to processor and how data is write into memory. These two things I have explained. Also, I want to add one more point. In this, we are transferring data one by one. That is, data transfer occurs one by one. Sometimes the data transfer may be completed in blocks. That is, consecutive locations needs to be written. In such case, block wise copying is done, or else block wise data transfer is done. Those things we will discuss in following classes. Let us see speed of memory now. In the previous section we have seen processor to memory data transfer. So there is some delay occurred over here during this data transfer. It affects the performance of the computer because the speed of processor is always very high compared to memory. So we need to improve the memory speed to match up the processor speed so that the performance of computer will be improved. So there is some delay occurred here. The two factors which affects the speed of memory are memory access time and memory cycle time. So memory access time means the time taken to access data from memory to processor is called as memory access time. In particular, so this read write signal is enabled by processor, this MFC signal is enabled by memory. Okay. Now the time taken between read write signal enabling to MFC signal enabling is called as memory access time. And the next one is memory cycle time. Memory cycle time is the time delay between two memory operation. Consider you have two memory access. The processor requires two data from memory. So first it tries to fetch the first data, it reaches. Then it tries to fetch the second data. The time taken between the first data and second data, first data completion and second data starting, there occurs a delay. That delay is called as memory cycle time. Usually this memory cycle time is a bottleneck in our system. This will be discussed later. Let us focus on improving the memory access time. So, and one more point, the cycle time, memory cycle time is always higher than the memory access time. And one more thing, so far we are discussing about memory unit. So this memory unit is nothing but RAM, random access memory. Usually if the processor tries to fetch some data from memory, it comes to RAM and it fetches. In case if the data is not available in RAM, then it has to wait for some more time to collect from secondary to RAM, then to processor. The secondary memory, what we are having is we have magnetic disk, magnetic tape and optical drive, so on. So there occurs more time delay. So usually the processor will only gets data from RAM, not from secondary devices. So to improve this process much more, we introduce another memory called cache memory. This cache memory is placed between processor and RAM memory. The speed of RAM is comparatively lower than cache memory. The speed of cache is higher than RAM. So if we place a cache memory between processor and RAM, the memory access time will be reduced. If we reduce the memory access time, the performance increases or the speed of memory increases. Next topic is virtual memory. Before going to see about this virtual memory is one of the important topic in our system. It plays a major role in our system. Before seeing the virtual memory, let us see this diagram again. See, when any data required by the processor loads its memory address to MAR. The address loaded in the MAR and the physical location in memory are always different. Okay, the address loaded in MAR and the physical location of memory are always different. So we need a mapping for finding the location. This is done through virtual memory. Let me come here. The memory address generated by processor and the physical location in memory are not same. So the address specified by the processor or program is called as virtual or logical address, and the physical memory location is called as physical address. So the virtual address is on processor side, the physical address is on memory side. These two things are not same. So to make a proper alignment or to find the exact location, we need a mapping function. This mapping function is controlled by a circuit called memory control circuit, and it is managed by memory management unit. So why we need this virtual memory? So we understand what is virtual memory. So virtual memory is nothing but a processor generates some virtual address, have some virtual address, and the physical memory contains some physical address. We need a mapping for that, so and so. Why we need this virtual memory? It is because to increase the size of physical memory, we cannot directly increase the physical memory size. Instead of increasing physical memory size, it is a cost affecting factor. The physical component replacement, everything is there, but we are increasing virtually. Virtually means it's not physical. So this virtual memory is used to increase the size of physical memory. See, this virtual memory is mapped with both main memory and secondary memory. Usually the virtual memory is mapped with main memory is always in active condition, whereas virtual memory mapped with secondary is not in active. Listen, a program may have n number of lines. Some lines are in active, those will be in your main memory. Few of them are in secondary because main memory size may not be fit for holding all data. In that case, some data will be placed in secondary memory. That references are mapped by the virtual memory. When the program execution is started, then in every memory cycle, the data is moved from secondary memory to main memory, so that this eliminates unnecessary searching if the data is lost in main memory. It won't allow you to have data loss in main memory, because it always gathers data, required data from secondary to main memory in advance because of this mapping function. Hope you understand. We will have a detailed discussion about this virtual memory in upcoming sessions. So far we have discussed some of the basic concepts in memory system. Hope you enjoyed. We are going to discuss more on semiconductor memories, then cache memory, then virtual memory, and then secondary storage devices, magnetic tapes, disks, and optical disks in this unit.